Hey everybody, it's Rob from Flailthroughs. This is Gundam Battle Operation 2, and this is a guest video from Nexo Hunter using the Messer F01 in space. That's going to be interesting, I think, because so much of the Messer's skill set is designed around flight, which technically doesn't happen in space, or, always happens in space, but in game terms, it is not happening in space. You're not hovering over anything. There's no gravity to drag your mines down, and so they will not drop faster when you are flying, which is, like I said, functionally never as opposed to all the time in terms of space controls. That said, the Messer still has a lot of good kit. It has the Gatling shield Nexo's using right now, which does a lot of good damage. It has a good beam rifle with good range. Does have the mines, which are perfectly functional in space, as the Zaku mine layer, among others, has always shown. And yeah, and it's got a good, melee pattern. So yeah, there's a lot of potential here. So Nexo's already gotten a kill. Allied team is slightly behind, but and their base looks like it may explode soon. So we'll see how that plays out. But it's a long round, and there's a lot of stuff left to do. So we will, see how that goes. I think Nexo just spread some mines there, which I think some of them did in fact connect. And, yeah. Got a downswing besides, and has, done some pretty good damage to this. And, oh man, that is some great spacing, and a diffuse. Very nice. Yeah, Nexo plays a lot more space than probably most anybody else who I publish rounds from. And it shows, because his spacing in space is excellent. It's, my pseudo depth perception, since, this is all technically still on a 2D screen, just is really not up to the challenges of space sometimes. And I've got sometimes what feels like a 50-50 chance to be close enough to land my melee on the ground. On space, in these big open areas, forget it. That's something that, I can probably remedy with more practice, but, just a matter of having the time and taking the time to practice, so. But, yeah, so far it's a really great round, 6,095 to 920. Just starting though, so we'll see where that goes. But yeah, Messer is doing pretty well in space. I believe it is, I'm not sure if it's space compatible or not. If it is, it's going to have slightly better boost efficiency and things like that in space than things that are not specifically space compatible. Yeah, like I've mentioned before, the way this game uses compatible, I would go, more specialization. Something that's space compatible is something that performs better than average in space, whereas something that is just usable in space is just usable in space. It's a really kind of odd semantic choice, I feel. But let's see. Yeah, good. The downfall of the shield Gatling, which is again really quite strong, is the fact that it does not have a lot of build stun. The Vulcans generate a lot more build stun a lot quicker. But that said, they do a lot more damage faster, so there is definitely a valuable trade-off to be had there. And also, as with other things like the Gym Guard Custom, I'm pretty sure using the Shield Gatling sticks the... I was trying not to clunk that trackball against anything where it would be audible. Oh well. Like the Gym Guard Custom, using the Shield Gatling, I'm pretty sure sticks the shield in front of you, which... given the relative width of the Messer and its shield, is not as valuable a thing as it is on the Gym Guard Custom, but it's still, puts your shield in front of you in a spot where you, pretty much know where it is, which if you're, if the, positional shield use of GBO2 is something that gives you trouble, that can be very valuable, because, you can set things up in a way where you know where your shield will be when you want it. And that is useful. But yeah, Yeah, you can. Matter of fact, yeah, you can see right now. Nexo was holding, the Messer was holding the shield in front of it, while Nexo had the Gatling equipped. So yeah, you can basically choose to have, to put up your guard and still have a pretty good avenue of attack while you're doing it. So, since I haven't mentioned it in a very long time, in case you don't know that about GBO2, for most mobile suits, shields are kind of like blocking in a fighting game. If you pull back, if you back up, you will put your shield in front of yourself when you do. And yeah, shields, there's, again, there are exceptions based on your mobile suit's skills and weapons, but there is typically no block button, and just it is all based on the position of your suit. So yeah, that is that is something that takes a lot of getting used to with the game, I feel like. But something I always meant to do one of those quick little how-to videos about, but I don't know if I ever did. I know I did a couple of them. I did the one on turn speed. Might have done shields as another one. If not, I meant to, which, I know means a lot for people who have, not seen this theoretical video because it may not exist, but, But wow, man, yeah, this is definitely going in Nexo's team's favor, 12,000 to 4,700. So that is, with 90 seconds left. There's a few people low on health on Nexo's side. The enemy team might be able to get closer to a 2-to-1 as opposed to a 3-to-1, but that said, since I've run so few space rounds and there's been some good stuff going on here, I am absolutely going to run this anyway. So, okay. And let's see. Yeah, I think the Messer has maneuver armor, and that and that one shot just kind of glanced off of it. That and the beam rifle that the person's currently firing may not have instant stun, at least. It may have an uncharged non-stunning attack. Well, I think something else caught Nexo, possibly support fire, so we may not get to find out what that was. Yagdug Quest. Yeah, I don't think that's what was fighting him a minute ago, because it doesn't have twin sabers. Either way, 30 seconds to go, and yeah, Nexo's team absolutely has this wrapped up. So he does have time to get in there and maybe do a little more, though, so we will see in a moment. Let's see. Okay, yeah, to their credit, they're getting up into 2-to-1 territory instead of 3-to-1 territory, so good on them. And that is a last-second kill. Very nice. Yeah, and they did it. They did manage to get a little bit above 2-to-1, so points to them for a last-second comeback, but it just was not enough with how well things have been going for Nexo's team. Their raid got top score. Oh, 6 Pulsar swept to the top score on the enemy team. Good to see him. Haven't played with him in a while. 70k damage, 6 kills, 2 deaths, and yeah, despite its special abilities not really coming into play, the Messer F01 definitely does pretty well in space. Because, yeah, at 4,600 points, about a quarter of that score is Nexo. So that is going to do it for today's Gundam Battle Operation 2. We'll be back soon with more. Till next time, everybody take care and have fun. Later. So my latest random acquisition is Surugaya got in the Labor in Action Ingram Unit 1 from Patlabor. And that is not bad, but it is definitely very much of its time. It is from early 2002, which it has a Patlabor 2001 sticker on it, I think it is. But according to the release info I've seen, it came out early 2002. Either way, that was right after the MS in Action Gundam second version, like about maybe 6 months at most. But that was a good long time before all of its various engineering advances became standard for the line. So it's got some interesting things going on. It's got the cockpit hatch opens, which I yeah, barely ever happens on MS in Action or, the related lines. It has the opening leg holster for the revolver, and the extending wrist on that side for that. And it's from the era when they actually did panel inking on all the MS in Action figures. Sadly, as the engineering got better, that kind of costed out. So, but that used to be like an important distinction between US and Japanese MS in Action figures. The Japanese ones had that panel line inking. But it looks really nice, and again, for that period the articulation is pretty good, but it has it has some of the least functional double jointed knees I have seen in, well, 20 some years. So, but again, looks really good. Only figure of its kind in the MS in Action line. It's kind of a weird in between thing because it's after like the initial like Super Robot in Action figures that they did when the line first started in '99, but before the in Action offshoot when they did Elgheim and a second take on Zabungle and Dunbine. Those were really good figures. But yeah, this isn't as good as offshoot. Isn't as bad as the early Eternal Force Super Robot in Action figures, but man, I kind of just wish it had been done like even as little as a year and a half later, because it would have been, probably one of the all timers.